Hi and welcome to Nutrition Therapy by Lucy. This is a channel where we talk about food, good nutrition and health. Thank you very much for your support, for subscribing to this channel, for watching my videos, commenting and liking them. I am so grateful. So if you're here for the first time, please make sure you hit on that subscribe button, the red button. So today I want us to discuss about nutrition and diabetes, because you can never separate diabetes and nutrition. It has to be managed either medically or with medicine and nutrition, because everything you eat in diabetes has an impact on your blood sugar levels. This is one of the most common and communicable disease, many factors contributing to it. It results from inability of the body to metabolize carbohydrates due to many factors. It can be your body is producing less insulin, sometimes no insulin produced at all, and also it can be your cells' inability to take up insulin. Less insulin or no insulin at all, that means you'll have too much sugar in your bloodstream, and that's how diabetes develops. We have several types of diabetes. We have type 1 diabetes, or the juvenile or insulin dependent. We have type 2 diabetes, the most common one, and also we have gestational diabetes, which develops in pregnant mothers. The risk factors for type 2 diabetes is obesity. That's why you should control your BMI and also your waist circumference. It's a risk factor for diabetes type 2. Also, the family history, genetics have a role to play, and also old age. But diabetes, please note, it's no longer a disease or a condition for the old age. It's also developing in adolescence and in early stages of life. So, gestational diabetes is due to hormonal changes, but it's a risk factor for developing diabetes type 2 later in life. So, it's also good to check your sugars during pregnancy. So what are the most common symptoms of diabetes is frequent urination, unexplained weight loss, extreme hunger, excessive thirst, vision changes, wounds that never heal. All those, they are symptoms of diabetes. But if you have all these symptoms, don't just make an assumption that you are diabetic. You need to see a doctor or a physician for a diagnosis. What happens if you develop diabetes? And also it's good to note that diabetes is a condition not to be cured but to be controlled. You need to control it either with medication, diet, and exercise. It's a holistic lifestyle change. So you need to control it. And I'm going to give you guidelines that will help someone who is suffering from diabetes on how you can be able to manage your sugars with the right diet. And also, diabetes eating guidelines is one of the healthiest way of eating, meaning that a diabetic patient or person should not have a separate pot from the rest of the family. Everybody should be following the guidelines to make sure that you support the person who is suffering, and also to prevent yourself from developing the condition. And to explain all this, I'm going to do it with the help of a food pyramid. Food pyramid is a guide on how many servings of each food should be eaten at each day. I'm going to explain from bottom to top. The first part is the carbohydrates, the major source of sugars or the glucose. When choosing your carbohydrate, make sure you choose complex carbohydrates, those that are high in fiber, like the atta chapati, brown rice, wholemeal bread, arrowroots, sweet potato. Don't worry about the sweetness of the sweet potato. That is the natural sweetness. Cassava or the whole grain cereals, the whole grain breakfast cereals, those that are high in fiber, because fiber acts as a buffer during the glucose or sugar metabolism. And also the fiber slows the digestion, meaning that the amount of sugars released in the bloodstream is not too much for insulin not to handle it. So carbohydrates, they are good. You can't do them. You can't do without them, because at the end of the day, whether you are diabetic or not, you need the energy, and the carbohydrates are the energy giving foods. Saying complex carbohydrates, It's because they have a low glycemic index. Glycemic index is how certain foods affect your blood glucose levels. Meaning if one person was to take, for example, 2 pieces of arrowroot or the ndoma, and another person takes white bread, and their blood glucose level checked, the one who ate the bread will have spiked sugar levels, which is not good in diabetes. So you need to check and choose the complex carbohydrate. So it is important to limit the simple carbohydrates. These are things like pasta, sugar, yeah, the one we put in tea, the corn, bread, especially the white bread. If you must do the bread, please go for the wholemeal bread, not brown, but the wholemeal bread, the one that has high fiber content, and also limit your potato intake. The second bit of the food pyramid is the protein or the energy or the bodybuilding foods. Choose the healthy ones like the lean red meat, fish, eggs, lentils, and beans. For the animal-based protein, you can do twice a week. Then the rest of the days you can have the plant-based proteins. So yes, proteins are good. You need them. You need all the amino acids for the bodybuilding and other functions of the protein, but choose them very wisely. Then we have the vegetables. Choose the non-starchy lower carb vegetables like the broccoli, cabbages, cauliflower, the eggplant, traditional vegetables or the kienyeji, carrots, and any other vegetable that you come across, because vegetables they are very low in carbohydrates, but they are good sources of vitamins and minerals. So for the vegetables, please make sure you eat them generously. Then we have the fruits. It's always good to know the type of fruit that you choose, and always choose fruit that have a low glycemic index. Yes, I have said that the glycemic index is how certain foods or even fruits affect the blood sugar level. So go for those that have a low glycemic index, because it's good to remember that fruits have a natural sugar, the fructose, which can raise the blood sugar levels. So choose your fruits very wisely, and also it's good to go for the fruits that they have higher fiber content, and also avoid the fruit juices and choose to take the whole fruit. You don't have to blend it. Take a whole fruit. Examples: the fruits with a low glycemic index that are good for diabetic persons are the green apples. If you've ever eaten the green apple and the red one, if you compare the sweetness, the green one is less sweeter compared to the red one. So a green apple is good for a diabetic patient or person. Then we have the pears, the oranges, dates, and bananas. But this does not mean that when you're eating, because they have a low glycemic index, you should eat like 2 or 3. Just take a piece and preserve the other piece for another time. And I always recommend that you eat your fruits before eating, not while eating, because yes, you're eating your foods, those are sugars, and the fruits, they are also sugar. So always choose to eat your fruits before eating, like maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour before eating your main meal. Good to note that there are some fruits with high glycemic index that a diabetic person should stay away from, like the pineapples, watermelon, mangoes. All those, they have a higher glycemic index. Then the other bit is the fats. Choose healthy cooking oil like the olive oil, canola. But if you can only afford the usual or the common vegetable oils, please make sure you use in moderation. You can also eat the nuts, seeds like the macadamia, the safflower, avocados. All those seeds and nuts, they contain hearty, friendly fats. So choose your fats very wisely. And lastly, watch your salt and fat intake, because with diabetes it becomes very easy for one to develop cardiovascular diseases like the hypertension, stroke, and others. It can start with diabetes, then to multiple organ failure. So it's very important to watch your salt and fat intake. And also remember to engage in some physical activities, because for diabetes, you must control the sugars with nutrition or the diet, with physical activities or the exercise, and in some cases the medication. So remember to also engage in some physical activities. And also, the plate model remains to be very important when it comes to managing diabetes, the portion and size. Yes, I have talked about the complex carbohydrates, all those, but that does not mean that you should eat them just anyhowly. It's important to watch the portion and size. For example, I have done a video on this. Half of the plate should be occupied by the vegetables, and be diverse, make them colorful, because with vegetables you're going to get all the nutrients, all the vitamins and minerals that your body requires. So eat the vegetables very generously. Then the first quarter of the plate should occupy the complex carbohydrates. Those are the atta chapati, the brown rice, the brown ugali, the wholemeal bread, your arrowroots, your sweet potato, your cassava, all those. That does not mean because they are complex you should eat them just like that. It's very important to measure, or even to take control of their portion and size. Then the proteins, we have the animal-based proteins, and then we have the plant-based protein. For the animal-based protein, you can do twice a week. Then the rest of the days you can do the plant-based protein. So the plate model, the portion and size remains to be very important. And it's good to manage your blood sugars to prevent the complication that could result from uncontrolled blood sugar or diabetes. We have complications like the amputation, the eye damage, foot damage, the nerve damage, kidney damage, and a range of cardiovascular diseases. So if you are diabetic, it's very important you manage your sugar levels. That's all for now. I hope you've learned something concerning nutrition or diet and diabetes. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel, Nutrition Therapy by Lucy. Give this video a like, comment, and turn on the notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you get notified. Thank you.